All right. All right, welcome to Hanging With. And today's segment, I'm with not only a longtime personal friend, but probably one of the most technically sound wrestlers in this sport ever. And my good friend, Dean Malenko. Dean, welcome aboard.
And that would be past tense. Past tense. Thanks a lot.
Well, you know what? The business has changed, as we both know. But you're working as a road agent now for WWE. You've retired. But you're also helping out with the guys in the ring. And one thing we know is whether you're turned wrestler today or whether it was 40 years ago, the basics are still the basics.
Yeah, some things never change. That's one of the aspects of our business that, it's like building a house. You got to start from the bottom up. You can't put the roof on first. But we got some great talent on both shows. But it's been a fun transition from packing a pair of boots and a pair of tights to a notepad and a pencil. But I've been doing this for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months already. I'm getting pretty used to it. But sometimes I find myself watching guys in the ring that I've worked with before. If it's Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, or Chris Benoit, and you get that little itch sometimes. It's like, I wish I could be in there getting the applause. But, I get a lot of satisfaction of helping the guys out and kind of living vicariously through their success and kind of really learning how to turn things around. And it's a different role. It's something I expected to do when I decided to step away from the ring, but it's been hard at times, but it's been a lot of fun and very rewarding.
Well, I was talking with Al Snow earlier, and we were talking about the passion that it takes, and he was saying it doesn't matter how technically sound you may be, how good an athlete you may be, if you do not have that love and passion, that, well, of course, yours is second generation coming from your dad, then all the athletic ability in the world is not going to make you a star in professional wrestling.
Right, that's so true. I mean, it's like any job. If you enjoy what you do and you enjoy coming to work and you enjoy performing in front of people, it's going to show. It's going to show night in and night out. And I think a lot of young guys in our business are growing up a whole lot different than I know definitely I have. There's only pretty much one show in town. A lot of guys don't pay their dues. Guys complain about going on an airplane, and we used to drive 300-400 miles and just to make $70. So a lot of things have changed, but the athletes now are so much faster and quicker, and some of the things they do. We keep raising the bar, and I keep asking myself, how far are we going to take it? But one thing I think the fans have noticed, if you've been watching our product as of late, especially more so on SmackDown, because we have a lot of what I call the wrestlers. We got the Kurt Angles, the Chris Benoits, the Eddie Guerreros, the Jamie Nobles, is that we're trying to get back to a little bit more wrestling and get back to going back on the mat again and trying to go back to old school a little bit. I think we've raised the bar so high, I don't think we can get any higher than what has been raised, and you kind of got to go work backwards a little bit, and we got some great guys to do that, I'll tell you that.
Of course, by raising that bar, we've raised the entry level, and by slowing things down just a bit, hopefully cutting back on that.
Yeah, I tell you, in the last 5 years, I don't think I've ever seen more injuries in this business than the last 15, 20 years, and I've been in it. It's unbelievable. It's almost like a mass unit half the time.
Right.
And it really hurts our industry because, I've always told people all the time, this is the hardest business there is today because nobody can be us. We're not like the soap opera where somebody's got an understudy and they're playing the role. If I'm Dean Malenko, nobody can be Dean Malenko. God forbid.
Boy, yeah, can I ever verify that?
But, if come Monday night on Raw on live TV, if Dean Malenko gets hurt or Triple H gets hurt, Booker T, whatever instance he is, nobody can play that part. So many guys go in there injured, back and knees blown out, and that, it takes a toll on your body. It really does.
Let's go back a little bit. I know you've had a lot of highlights in your career, but I think probably some of the best times were when you were wrestling in Japan. I know you enjoyed that tremendously, and then, of course, with your brother Joe in tag team action over there.
Yeah. I started in the business, and probably unlike so many guys in our industry that broke in the business because they ate, drank, and slept this, and were fans of it. I was always a fan of, but I was very intrigued with amateur wrestling. I had my career cut short due to an automobile accident, had some cervical surgery done on my neck, and I wanted to still participate in the competition. I loved the moves and the counters and all that, and the only place I could take that was turn professional. And Lord knows who would have known 22, 23 years later, I'm still doing it. But I had some great times in Japan. I think Japan was tailor-made for me and the style that I had to offer. and it wasn't so much TV entertainment based as it is today. It was more, get out there, give me 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes. It's wrestling, and it's something I've always loved to do. That part of the business I really do miss a lot. I miss going out there with the Chris Benoit's in Japan and going out there and doing 30 minutes and keeping a crowd captivated and just sitting there really intrigued with the moves and the counters of what you guys had to offer. Unfortunately, in our day and time, the longest match we'll see is 6 minutes. Everything is so fast-paced in our industry and TV in general. Everything's, the pop-up videos and everything's, it's like little excerpts of little things going on in a 2-hour program. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't have the time allowance due to TV time to really captivate our audience like we want to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, you were given a good foundation on this by a guy by the name of Professor Boris Malenko, actually Larry Simon, your father, and you also were able to train with Carl Gotch, who is known as one of the great hookers of all time. So you're talking about serious. You had to be very serious when you started.
Yeah, one of the big things about being a second generation is not so much from and you'll know this as well as anybody. There's two sides of our businesses. One is in ring, and the other one is out ring. And sometimes the political wars that go in the back and how to handle yourself from a business aspect and all the others are just as hard, if not harder, than actual wrestling. And that's one thing I was really helpful to have a father who was always in the business that were screwed by promoters. My dad used to always say there's two types of promoters in our business, bad or worse. And unfortunately, there's a couple that are good out there, but they're far and few between. But my dad really read me the riot act of what to look out for, what's good, what's bad, and to really watch myself from a business aspect and, save your money. There's always a rainy day in our business. You're only here for so long until there's one day you walk the streets and you're just like everybody else. So from that aspect of having a father that's in the business, that really helped me. I think I was 2 steps ahead of the game before even first time stepping in the ring.
Let me ask you this. Of course, you're working as a road agent now, and of course that can go on for some period. Do you see yourself maybe going back and working with the guys in ring, maybe starting up your own camp again at some point?
One thing I've learned in the wrestling business, and the motto and the creed that we always follow, is never say never in the wrestling business. I mean, the things that have happened in the last 2 years to me, I would have never predicted this. I left one organization without a job, going to another organization, and then a year later that organization closing and everybody else coming by, and then walking out with a year left in my contract here and stepping forward into another position as being a road agent. So much has changed in 2 years that never say never. My wife was laughing the other day because we were going through our closets redoing the house, and I still got my backpack with my boots, my towel, my socks, the whole 9 yards. And she goes, "Why do you got this?" I said, "You just never know. It's like having a fire, you just never know what could happen." Never, at this point, I don't see myself in the ring. Definitely not from an ego standpoint. If anything, it would be to help some of the younger guys out and, to help them in any way or any capacity I could.
Well, let me say this. Your career certainly is one that any young guy can watch and admire and follow, and you truly have made people respect our industry and what we do, and I appreciate you joining me here today.
Well, I had to. You paid me.
Okay, well, that's right. My good friend Dean Malenko, we've been hanging with him today. Thank you,
I thought you said hang with this.